Ya, 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 la, 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 la. Ya, ya, la, 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 la.
We continue now with Elias Kara, and then we will go directly into Yizkor. If we were in our sanctuary, our memorial board would be scrolling through all the names on our memorial plaques. Since we're not there, if you go to the website, you will find what seems to be a picture of it scrolling through all the names there. And it will continue to do that the rest of today into tomorrow. And so if there's a memorial plaque, it will be scrolling on the website also. As we now continue with Elias Kara.
Hallel, ani bochia, eni yordamayim, ki rachak mimeni menachem, meshiv nafshi.
These I remember, the ones whose lives were shaped by a mitzvah. You must not remain indifferent. The ones who lost their lives through devotion to a mitzvah. Justice, justice shall you pursue. The ones who embodied through deed and dedication a mitzvah. Choose life. And these I remember, the ones who mended the broken, brought healing to the wounded, fought back despair with the solace of faith. The ones who breathed life into a prayer, l'taker olam b'malchut Shaddai, to establish in the world the sovereignty of high and noble purpose. I remember these, artists of the soul, architects of redemption, the activists and advocates of justice and beauty, exemplars of Tikkun Olam repairing the world. On this holy day, we remember the 10 sages, known as the 10 martyrs, were executed by Rome in the uprisings of the 1st and 2nd centuries of the Common Era in the land of Israel. Though many other Jews lost their lives as well, the courage of these 10 have been recalled for centuries in a Yom Kippur poem of lament, Elias Kara, which reflected the experience of Jewish communities devastated by the Crusades, which began in 1096. And these are their names: Rabbi Yishmael, the high priest; Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, prince of Israel; Rabbi Akiva; Rabbi Hananiah ben Teradyon; Rabbi Chutzpit; Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua; Rabbi Chanina ben Chachinai; Rabbi Yeshev; Rabbi Yeshevav the scribe; Rabbi Yehuda ben Dama; Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. The prayers of Yom Kippur set us on the path to becoming better human beings. Today, let us learn from the lives of those who walked the path before us.
Hallel, ani bochia, eni yordamayim, ki rachach mimeni menachem, meshiv nafshi.
The prayers of Yom Kippur set us on the path to becoming better human beings. Today we will learn from the lives of those who walk the path before us. Thus, to the ancient names, we add these additional ones from the modern era: the names of James Chaney, Andrew Goodwin, and Michael Schwimmer, who were civil rights activists who met in 1964 anticipating a summer of voter registration among African Americans in Neshoba County, Mississippi. They disappeared together one night in June. 100 years after the Civil War, the denial of civil rights based on race was still pervasive, especially in the American South. Time and again, the nonviolent struggle for equality was met with violence that shocked the nation. speaking before 250,000 people at the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Rabbi Joachim Prinz, once the rabbi of Berlin Jews under Nazi rule, placed a challenge before the marchers and before the collective conscience of America itself. The most urgent, the most disgraceful, the most shameful, and the most tragic problem is silence. America must not become a nation of onlookers. America must not remain silent. James Chaney, an African-American native of Mississippi, had been a freedom rider at the age of 15. His mother recalled James telling her why he joined the civil rights movement. "I can probably do something for myself and help somebody else." Chaney's work with Michael and Rita Schwerner began in 1963. They helped establish a community center in Neshoba County to house daycare for children, freedom school classes, and the headquarters of the voting rights movement. Schwerner, raised in a Jewish home in New York City, worked with his wife Rita for the Congress of Racial Equality in Mississippi. Their lives were threatened from the time they arrived there, but they persisted. When Andrew Goodman volunteered to register African-American voters in the South, he was a student at New York's Queens College, with a major in anthropology and an interest in theater. Like Schwerner, Goodman was raised in a Jewish home. Like Chaney, he'd been involved in desegregation efforts before the three met in Neshoba County. Goodman was 20, Chaney 21, and Schwerner 25 years old when they were murdered by members of the Ku Klux Klan on the night of June 22, 1964, Goodman's first day in Mississippi. Their bodies were found in early August, nearly a year after the March on Washington. After the murders, Rita Schwerner said, "It's tragic as far as I'm concerned that white Northerners have to be caught up in the machinery of injustice and indifference in the South before the American people register concern. I personally suspect that if Mr. Chaney, who was a native Mississippian Negro, had been alone at the time of the disappearance, that this case, like so many others that have come before, would have gone completely unnoticed. And we sadly add, like far too many others still today, tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, justice, justice shall you pursue."
Hallel, ani bochia, eni yordamayim, ki rachak mimeni menachem, meshiv nafshi.
As we continue now directly into Yizkor. Again, you will find it on page 440 of your Machzors at home or before you. 540.
Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat hadam. O God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
Our days, like the grass of the field, like flowers in the meadow, vanish at a momentary gust of wind, gone, never to be seen again. But God's love is infinite and with us forever. God's goodness reaches far into the future. This is the gift of the covenant. So I continue on page 567. Yesh kochavim she'oram magia arza, rak asher hem atzmam, du ve'enam. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. As we take moments of silent meditation, these words are just suggestions to help you form your own thoughts, or whatever other prayers your heart may wish. There are also prayers for those of you with the Machzors on page 570, 571, 572, 573, 574, and 575. Merciful God, God Most High, may you remember all those who died of COVID-19, of old age and known preconditions, and those who died entirely surprised by the terrible fragility of our human bodies. With love, we repeat the words of an old Yizkor book. I had a dream. I returned to the town of my childhood. Everyone there was still alive. Dreamers we are of a world in which you are still alive, living among us, going about the life we once knew as normal. May your memory be a blessing and a reminder to shelter those who are fragile, even in times of fear. Eternal One, through all generations we have found our home in you. Before the mountains rose up, before the birth pangs of the earth, you alone have been with us, steadfast, constant for all time. In the end, you return us to dust, saying, "Come home now, daughters and sons of Adam and Eve, you are mortal." In your sight 1,000 years pass in an instant, like a fleeting watch in the night. But how brief the span of our lives. Our years flow by in a dream. We sleep away our days. In the morning we blossom in beauty. In the evening we wither away. Burnt like grass in the blasting heat of summer, we perish like chaff on the wind. A human life may be 70 years and 10 or 80 years for those who are blessed with strength. So many days consumed by toil and troubles. Then our time is cut short, and too soon we go into the dark. So teach us to number our days, that we may bring home a heart of wisdom. Give us a sense of your presence. Nourish us with your compassion. Knowing your love at the dawn of our life, let us live our days in contentment. May our moments of joy surpass the times of struggle. May we taste the sweetness of each precious day. May the work of our hands bring fulfillment.
בידו הפקיד רוחי, בעת אישה לעירה, ואם רוחי גוויתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא, ואם רוחי גוויתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your hand. From here I shall not fear, hold me in your hand. From here I shall not fear, safely in your hand.
If some messenger were to come to us with the offer that death should be overthrown, but with the one inseparable condition that birth should also cease. If the existing generation were given the chance to live forever, but on the clear understanding that never again would there be a child, or a youth, or first love, never again new persons with new hopes, new ideas, new achievements, ourselves for always and never any others. Could the answer be in any doubt? When we fear death's decree, let these bring us solace. The memory of loved ones who have gone before us, a vision of generations to come through whom we reach far into the future, beyond our own lives. The 23rd Psalm does not make promises that cannot be kept. The end of all evil, the eradication of suffering and pain, sunshine instead of shadows. It makes but one promise, only this, that you are not alone. The Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that brings some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us. And these are the names of our congregants and loved ones and friends who've left us for life eternal since last we gathered Yom Kippur a year ago. Their names on our lips and in our hearts. Stephanie Abramson, Robert Ackerman, Ruth Agris, David Klaus Alschwing, Elise Azriel, Lotus Bailey, Nemo Bailey, Burl Bellows, Idispat Shmuel Vidina, Stephen Bernstein, Bill Bialk, Seymour Brecher, Sherry H. Brody, Eric Butline, Arnold Califf, Sherby Chernin, J.W. Jim Cogburn, Rabbi Sissy Corin, Suzanne B. Dorff, Edward Elkon, Phyllis Ellis, James A. Englander, Beverly J. Erline, Ruth Pfeffer, Ferdinand H. Feiss, Miriam Fine, Gerald Fishman, George Perry Floyd Jr., Rabbi Brian Fox, Bruce J. Friedman, Herbert Giller, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Suzanne Goldstein, Rabbi Manny Gold, Harriet Gorelick, Marvin Greenfield, Shirley K. Hirschbein, Annette Zolan Hirsch, Dale Hudson, Kurt Jacobson, Rabbi Samuel Karff, Judith Katz, Donna J. Klein, David Kushner, Esther Lowasser, Jean E. Lazarus, Gennady Lefschetz, John Lewis, Stephen Lichtig, Betty Ray Litow, Michael S. Luber, Gerald Marburg, Shirley Masters, Dan B. Maytal, Thomas L. Miller, Martin Millman, Gordon H. Milner, Harold Arthur Nonkin, Mildred Pack, Beatrice Shirley Perlman, Rabbi Michael Remsen, Carl Rhines, Ida Robbins, Rabbi Kenneth David Roseman, Francis Rott, Ellis A. Rusink, Brenda Safer, Phyllis Schiff, David Schwartz, Rabbi Mark Dove Shapiro, Rabbi Mark S. Shapiro, Alan M. Schlimovitz, Alice Briskin Scholler, Joseph B. Silverman, Edith Silverstein, Charlotte Slater, Kathy Soanes, Ryle Sondak, Rabbi Ideen Evan Israel Steinsaltz, Marcy Strick, David M. Sweetwood, Royal Chester Taxman, Brandon Thiel, Herbert Usow, Jesus Valley Jr., David Aaron Van Dusen, Dana Wack, Shelley Byrne Weinstein, Trevor Wetzelar, Amy Yaffe, and Susan Ann Zukro Makovich. Zichronam livracha. May their memories forever be a blessing as they ever live on within us. As we rise, you'll find the memorial prayer before you and on page 598.
El malei rachamim shochen b'meromim hametzeh menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashechina במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים לנשמות יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם בגן עדן דמנוחתם. אנא בעל הרחמים הסירם בסתר כנפיך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבותיהם ונאמר Amen.
Merciful God, God Most High, let there be perfect rest for the souls of our loved ones who have gone into eternity. May they find shelter in your presence among the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold them close to you forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May they find a home in you, and may they rest in peace, as together we all say, Amen.
Amen.
I continue with a reading on page 602. You won't find it on the screen, but if you have your machzors, you will find it. We miss them at celebrations when there's an empty seat at the table. We miss them when the community gathers and there's an empty place beside us. We miss them today and every today, with every year that passes as our life goes on without them. Their faces, their voices, the feel of our arms around them, these are with us forever. For so it is written, love is strong as death. The love that we gave, the love that we received, these endure amid the pain of loss. As we turn to the words of Kaddish before you or on page 606. And we will unmute. Andrew, let's unmute. There will be noise, but we are not alone. And so you may unmute yourselves once Andrew has done it for you. Yit Gadal, Yit Gadal, Hey Rabba, Yalma, Rabbi, Yamlich, Malchutei, Echayechon, Yomechon, Chayei Dechol Israel, Agalav
Amen.
Yehi Ram Amen. Yizkor
Yishtaba,
Bar
Nase, Dar, Dalit, Dalal, Shemit,
Ela
Al,
Minu Ela
Beta,
Mikol Irva
Tara, Rav, Ma,
Amen. Yehi
Hey Shama Rava
Abba, Mi,
Mishaya
Shemaya,
Yain
Inu Be'akol
Kol
Israel
Kol Yisrael,
Yamru
Amen.
Amen.
Osei
Shalom Shalom
Shalom,
Shalom
Aleinu, Kol
Yisrael
Yisrael,
Kol
Amen.
Yeshvei Tevel Yamru Amen.
The one who makes peace in the high heavens above, send peace down here to us, to all Israel, to all the world. Together
Let
we
us
all say,
Amen.
Amen. Concludes Elias Kara and Yizkor. I think we're going to mute everyone again. We will be continuing with Ne'ilah in approximately 20 minutes. We hope you'll join us with Ne'ilah as we conclude, as the gates will begin to close, and then stay with us. We can't break our fast together, at least in person. We can do it online, but we will share Havdalah together. We hope that all of you receive the Havdalah candle in the package that came out from the synagogue. You don't need a spice box because we're not leaving Shabbos. You'll need just a cup of wine, of grape juice, or if you're like me, a cup of brandy. So you'll fill your Kiddush cups up. Hopefully you'll have your Havdalah candles. And together, when we finish with Ne'ilah and the gates close, we will share Havdalah. We'll see